Hello everybody and welcome back to the Fortress of Solitude. And this week, first up on the docket, we have Superman issue 5 by Joshua Williamson and Jamal Campbell. Superman's battle with Silver Banshee takes a turn as Supercorp show up with a surefire way to stop the villain, but Superman, spurred by his pal Jimmy Olsen, looks for more ways to help Banshee's out of control powers. Williamson continues to roll with the status quo that Superman books have been having for the last couple of issues, which is dealing with villains in more creative ways and really more Superman-like ways, which involves a lot of talking them down from the ledge and trying to rehabilitate them rather than punch them until they stay down. Silver Banshee here is no different, and we get even more of a build-up with her recent backstory than we did with Parasite before her, briefly exploring how Shiv and Jimmy got together in a really lovely sequence of events and just how much Jimmy loves her, using his connection to her to help Superman save her. The supporting cast, like Jimmy, getting more involved in the actual main plot is brilliant, since now they're just not standing around doing nothing and waiting for Superman to save them while Superman fights the villain. The cast having actual stakes in Superman's conflicts is fun, and it means Jimmy is teaming with his best pal again, and I'm all for that, especially if it means Clark gets to know his rogues a bit more on a personal level like he does with Shiv this issue, which has a fantastic sequence of Clark and Lois going on a nice little double date with Jimmy and Shiv. It's those little everyday things we really don't get all that much with these heroes that I love, and I'm glad the book does them so well. Jamal Campbell's work over these wholesome pages is just so lovely, but I mean the whole book is fantastic and lovely, but it's all in these little details they add in, like Jimmy's jetpack trail making the S-shield shape while he takes off with Superman to help save his girlfriend, or this really awesome paneling of Superman leaving the Supercorp in one building, smashing through the ground in one other panel, and then down into the ground in the final panel. A panel transition I can't say I've ever seen before, but one that's brilliantly executed. I do wish we had gotten a little bit more of Lois investigating Marilyn Moonlight, since that's really being done off page. Although I do think Williamson, once Night Terrors is done or close to being done, is going to go back and fill in the gaps on what Lois was doing during all of this. And to be fair, the issue here was very chock full thanks to having to wrap up so much before Night Terrors begins, which leads to Williamson revealing something called Project Chained, one of Lex's many schemes Superman doesn't know about, but Graft and Farm know of it, using it to throw the hero off balance and make him question what Lex is really up to even more so now. There is also this really fantastic cliffhanger of Lex getting shivved in prison and left to die, but Superman, unable to use his super hearing thanks to losing it during his battle with Silver Banshee, can't hear him calling for help. That honestly feels like a pre-planned thing between Graft and Farm, and they knew that Superman would lose his hearing or what Banshee was being actually controlled for, and that was the whole point of their fight. All just so they could just take out Lex without alerting Superman. It's such a fun, well thought out plan, and it sucks we have to wait a few more months for it to properly pick up the story again, since much like the recent Green Lantern issue 2, it feels like we are just starting to cook with gas when kinda gets undercut by the fact that all these books are now having to tie into a big summer event. Williamson and Campbell's Superman issue 5 continues to give Superman's rogues some amazing character depth, approaching the threat to Metropolis in beautifully drawn and creative ways that keeps Superman's never-ending battle fresh and interesting. The only major downside I have is that we have to wait a few months to properly pick up on the big cliffhanger ending. However, I'm going to give this issue a 10 out of 10, so check it out. And while you're at it, why not check out some of my other reviews like Green Lantern issue 2, or catch up on the Flash family and their 1-minute war.